Hello, hello. Welcome to Cricbuzz Live. What a pleasure it is for you to see me here on the English show. It's true though, Joy. It's a pleasure for you to see me here.
It's a total pleasure. But I mean, your modesty just moves me.
I'm #humble. That's what I am.
Very humble.
Very humble. But the thing is that...
Just don't get #gurur here.
That's right. That is for the Hindi show.
Yeah.
Also for #Guru to work, just to tell you people, I think it translates to arrogance. Is that what it literally translates to? That arrogance has been started by Parthiv Patel because he keeps getting his score guesses right, which in the 50-over format is just, as I realize, close to impossible. But that's why he has that arrogance. Added to the arrogance of his youth and his baby face, it is just, I'm surprised his head fits in this studio. That's how big his ego's become. But here today, I have with me two gentlemen with egos that can be contained in this room because they're just #humble in real. Mr. Joy Bhattacharya, Mr. Zaheer Khan, hello and welcome.
Good afternoon.
Welcome, welcome. I, of course, am Gaurav Kapur, and this, of course, is Cricbuzz Live. And today, of course, is a weekday. But you are watching from different parts of the world because the game that is happening today is an important game, just like all games will be from now on till the end of the league phase. England is playing today, the defending champions. Oops, did I say defending champions? Well, the captain had something to say about that. We'll get to that in a minute. And they, of course, are playing against Sri Lanka. Now, for both of these teams, they are, as they say, dancing on the knife's edge, aren't they, Joy?
Absolutely. And this is what they call the hump game.
Yeah.
All the other teams have done 5 matches. And that 5th match is actually a hump. After that, the tournament, there's only 4 matches left in the tournament. So this is a really big one. Whoever wins out here gets there. And what happens is then the table breaks up very nicely. You have the first benchers with 8 points.
Yeah.
Then there's one middle in 6 points. Then 2 people with 4. And then the rest are all 2.
Yeah. And of course, in all of that, we forgot to say that India is the teacher.
India is a teacher. Right? India is the headmaster.
India's the headmaster there. But today, Zach, is it safe to say that whichever team loses today, I don't say print your boarding passes, but at least do your seat selection for the flight back.
Yeah, in a way.
Yeah.
But I was just looking at the table, and one thing which pops out when you're looking at England and their campaign so far, even if they win today, their campaign is not going to change much. They're just going to go above Sri Lanka maybe because their net run rate is so bad.
Yeah.
And net run rate is often reflection of how a team is going on in the tournament. So sometimes you might be very low on the points table, but if your net run rate was better than the others, suddenly your campaign would have looked completely different after winning this game and winning it by a decent margin. So that is the concern right now for England, because even if they win right now and win by a big margin, they still may not have that kind of a jump on that points table to give them that faith and confidence that, okay, from here also we can change things around. They have to not just win games, I think they have to win games with big margins, and that's the concern at this stage.
Such a great point by Zach is that what that negative run rate and where they are, net run rate is -1.2. What that demonstrates is that not only have they lost games, but they've lost them by big margins. I don't know if they've still recovered from the trauma of that attack, that brutal attack that South Africa launched on them at Wankhede a few days back.
No, absolutely. And if you look at it, what happens with run rate is, run rates fluctuate a lot when the tournament is early.
Yeah.
Because what happens is every match, say, second match is 50% as important as the first match.
Yeah. Okay.
The longer you go, the more difficult it is for run rate to change because the weight of the previous matches is there. So how did Australia change their run rate? They won by 300 runs. Now that is the kind of victory you need. Yeah. So they really changed. They went from a negative to a positive, but 300 runs. How often? That's happened twice in the history of, one-day international cricket.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. You need a win like that, or you need 300-run victories. 300-run victories, and look at the teams that are coming up after this. It's not going to be
tough gig.
Yes,
Tough gig for them. Like you see their lineup, right? There's, they're playing India. You're playing table toppers with that perfect record. So they're playing against India. You're playing against your nemesis Australia, who suddenly have just picked up now. And then if you would say maybe one easy game, South Africa will not agree with me, but maybe Netherlands for them.
Yeah.
They could see, all right, maybe we could get our 2 points there. But they're playing Pakistan as well. They'll be wounded by the end of it, by the way they're looking, so they can be dangerous on any day. Depends on which Pakistan wakes up and comes to play against you. So they have a tough call as well going up. And it's such a good point. You said 300-run win for Australia, right? Took the net run rate up. England still has to turn around their 229-run loss.
Correct. They have a lot they're making up.
So they have to negate that first before
It took Australia 3 matches to come close to negating the smashing they got against South Africa.
Yeah.
But they've managed it by now. See, the one thing I've learned about this World Cup is if you have to lose badly, lose early badly.
Yeah.
Because then at least you're aware that my run rate is out. I have to do something about it.
Yeah.
When you get smashed in your third or fourth match, it makes life very difficult for you.
Zach, let me ask you. I mean, I know it's not an easy question in terms of it's not an easy answer, it's not an easy fix, but why is England looking so off colour? This is the team that 4 years back had redefined one-day cricket. Why do they seem so off colour this season?
I think to a certain degree, they were looking at the conditions, maybe trying to alter their plans, maybe trying to alter their approach. And that's what was evident in that first game.
Yeah.
The first game which they played against New Zealand. It wasn't the team which we've seen or in terms of approach. You can get out. There is no, it's a game of cricket, bowler is going to bowl at you. You're going to try your best. At times you're going to falter and you're going to get out. But what was standing out with England was their intent with the bat. Like one thing they've made it very clear, we're going to win games of cricket on the basis of how good we bat. And that was the importance which was given through and through. When you're looking at their campaign in this World Cup, where is England with the bat?
True.
They've not really turned up.
Yeah.
And that has been their problem. And the problem started with them maybe second guessing their approach. The T20 to other formats, to ODIs, how do you want to bat? Maybe some guys are saying that, okay, they've not played enough ODI cricket and that kind of hampered.
Joe Root said that.
Yeah, so they're trying to now find reasons why this is happening.
Yeah.
But you can bat in the T20 approach through and through. You might get out, but you will end up on good days scoring that 400, 350 consistently. And that's something which I think they missed the trick.
Let me tell you what he said. He said that whether it's domestically or internationally, I don't think we play enough ODIs if we want to compete in the World Cups. He says when you're not playing the format, it's hard to know who the best players are. That being said, I don't think we've got the wrong squad of players here. I just don't think we've performed. I mean, he also said, I'm not making an excuse. This is not, and Joe Root would not, but it is a very valid point because when you see the numbers, Joy, they have played, I think, 2/3 of the games that India has played.
Absolutely. I'll tell you one more stat. In their domestic 50-over tournament, okay, since this thing, so that number will tell you something. Just 42 matches played, India's played.
And not well. I mean, if you see that, it's like 22-1 and 16 loss, which is not what a World Cup winner should be doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but India's played 66 games there. And sorry, you're saying even the players who played.
Players who played, I mean, look at their domestic. I mean, how do you make out players that, they played domestic, you're going to watch them, you're going to see them. Total of their one-day tournament called the One Day Cup, totally their entire 11 has played a total of 10 matches in the last 3 years. Out of which 8 matches have been played by David Millan because he was not in their team most of the time. And 2 matches have been played by Gus Atkinson. None of the others have played. Let me tell you the truth, and you don't want to hear it out here, but the truth of it is, England did not think they had a great chance of playing a World Cup in Indian conditions. They have not prioritized one-day international cricket.
Okay.
We like it, you don't like it. They haven't prioritized it at all. They don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, if so, India, whatever happens, in 23, started playing one-day internationals.
Yeah.
Rahul Dravid is thinking about number 4 and getting KL Rahul ready and all that. They have not. They have not put any thought behind it. Anyway, they don't play 3 formats. They play 4 formats.
4 formats.
They play 100 as well. I think in those 4 formats, ODI is the last. So look, let's face it, this England has not prioritized this World Cup.
Yeah.
And then after that, if you don't prioritize, come and you expect to win, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, with 4 formats, you are going to, as they say proverbially, spread the chopped vegetables in yogurt dish, which is raita phelana, as they call, right? Well, let me tell you
Hindi is coming here.
I think he's going to do it. I think finally, because he'll be in a floor somewhere in between a basement, which is bilingual.
Yeah.
Lift will take him up 1 floor, he'll do a show here, move down.
I really want to do that. I want to do something valuable. Let me tell you, there is some raita phelao today also by England. So what they did is they went in with an approach, completely changed it and said, all-rounders, we seem to be allergic. Out you go. Right? And then they got in the bunch of pace. Today they've decided, all-rounders, we love you. back you come, because that's what has happened. They're going to be batting first. They won the toss, England. This is their 11. Liam Livingstone, Moeen Ali, and Chris Wokes are all back in the team, right? They still have David Willey, Adil Rashid, and Mark Wood, who will be bowling. It's a good, nice, diverse bowling attack. I will say, I definitely like this team more than the previous team they played, because this has been their way of playing. Now they have proper hitting till number 9. David Willey comes at number 9. That's proper hitting. Mark Wood, Adil Rashid, they can all hit. So they're basically batting till 13 now. But do you like this approach more, Zach? The fact that they've come back to it, forget that they shook. Do you like this setup, this thinking?
They started with this.
Yeah.
They started the tournament with this. After that, that didn't work for them. And that's what I was trying to say. It was more about the approach and the mindset and the brand of cricket you want to play, or how do you want to just, look at things with regard to batting. That has been their strength. Now, what happened? They went to Topley afterwards.
Yeah.
They continued with Topley. Now, Topley is injured.
Yeah.
Jofra, they thought will be available at some stage in the tournament.
Yeah.
So that also has not worked out for them.
You
So
know that
Jofra
pain.
is still not fit and available. Yeah.
Zach
little
knows
bit.
that pain. Yes.
So because he's not ready right now, they have no option but to fall back onto this.
Yeah.
Now, what is it going to do to the guys? See, end of the day, these are individuals who are going to take the field for you.
Yeah.
Now, you've shown that confidence before. And by dropping them, you've told them that, okay, your form is not good, you're patchy and, blah, blah, whatever.
Yeah.
Now, they're back in this in the playing 11.
Yeah.
So what it does, it's actually not going to give them that security as well. It's not going to bring the A game out.
Yeah.
So that is what I'm curious to see right now, because you've same Chris Wokes was not able to deliver. Is how much is going to change now in the 2-3 days when you know that the team has dropped me and now they don't have any option but to bring me back. So he's back in the squad. So England, if they have to revive their campaign, it has to be with the bat. There is no doubt about that. And that's, again, they've gone back to that. Maybe Moeen Ali, they shouldn't have dropped earlier. Moeen Ali is someone in that lineup right now is looking like a player, might be able to provide them with that spark. Butler batting low down the order. They should have addressed it long time back. But maybe the conditions they were playing in, whatever ODIs they've played, has not basically, they missed that opportunity. Now, if they try it straight in the tournament, it might be too late. It's a hit and miss then. So they still want to continue with whatever process they've shown so far. And they have to put runs on board. They've not been able to put runs on board in this tournament.
Great opportunity today, because they are playing at the Chinnaswamy in Bangalore, and you know what happens over there, right? You can catch a few balls if you go for a walk to Cubbon Park. So that can happen, and today they've got the firepower to do that. Who is going to be stopping them? Well, it's the Sri Lanka 11. They're going to be bowling first. Let's have a look at their team and see the changes they've made. Oh, looky who's back. It is senior citizen, Mr. Angelo Matthews, drafted in the squad and then, of course, called up from home. He's in the World Cup squad and is playing today. And the good news for them down below, Lahiru Kumara is back in the squad as well. But let's read the squad out for you from the top. Nisanka and Kushal Pereira at the top. Their captain, taken over in the tournament, is Kushal Mendes. Then you have Samara Vikrama, who's been in good form, their highest run getter. Charit Asalanka, where has he been? Got to see more of him. Then DDS, Dhananjay De Silva. Angelo Matthews, the veteran. Mahesh Tikshana, he's really got to check in. They need him, Sri Lanka. Kasum Rajita, Dilchan Madhushanka, who's been good. And Lahiru Kumara is in the squad. Joy, what do you make of this? First of all, you saw Angelo Matthews in the squad, and I have to read that expression. I couldn't figure it out.
No. So two simple things. Angelo Matthews has played 3 one-day internationals since 2019. In this between period, he's played 3 one-day.
3?
3.
That's like probably lesser than
once
you
a
and
year,
me.
it's like
We
an
play
anniversary.
more.
Exactly. That's one. I mean, secondly, he's not been a part of the setup at all. Okay. And if you remember, Sri Lanka cricket had a very stormy time when they came together, and Matthews was the captain, Chandimal was the captain. Post that period of Sangakkara and Jayawardene, they had this really stormy period. Now, finally, they're out of it. They've got Shanaka, the new captain, new blood. Now, bringing back Angelo Matthews is changing the dynamic of the team totally. It is like you're bringing somebody back who was not a part of this setup, who thinks in a different way. And Angelo made all the right statements. He turned around and said, I'm prepared to bowl if the team needs me. I'm prepared to do anything. And the reason they've got him in today is because the last time in the 2019 World Cup, he scored at 85 in 115 balls, and Sri Lanka managed to beat England in that match. He was one major part of it. So he's looking at it as his way through. My problem is that no matter what happens in this match, they might win, they might lose. But from Sri Lankan cricket, it's a total U-turn. You've gone back, you've said, I've gone away from this. It's a nice new team which thinks in a particular way. I've suddenly done a U-turn and gone back to Bandra.
Yeah, fair enough. Your opinion on the thought process. Again, we were talking about England's thought process. Similarly, Sri Lanka's thought process. Again, there is no question on the pedigree of the player, Angelo Matthews. But just the thought process, as Joy is saying, of this U-turn.
No, exactly how Joyda has mentioned, it's a U-turn. And right now, when you look at Sri Lanka, the way they were rebuilding the team, the question is, was it required? The obvious answer right now to me is no, because you are doing so many things well. In spite of being some players not being available right now, they've been putting up a good show. So it's just about continuing believing in that thought process. The moment you've gone backwards right now, how it's going to unfold, no one is sure of. So is it like one-off tournament you are looking at? If that is the case, then again, why do you have to go back to someone who you moved on from? So I think it's a bit of a concern. We'll have to see what the eventual thought process is, like what kind of role Matthews is going to play with Sri Lankan cricket, not just for this campaign, but going forward, then we will know the thought process. So currently for an outsider, this is a complete U-turn, maybe unnecessary. But if Sri Lankan cricket guys who are right now looking at Sri Lankan cricket going forward, what kind of role they have for Matthews is something which I'm curious about. So if it's a role which basically mentoring, maybe bringing in some kind of stability, not playing all the games, but being around, just creating that kind of environment, a bit of a leadership role without being a leader.
Great.
But if it's a prolonged role, then I'm with that. If it's not a prolonged role and just one-off tournament, then it was unnecessary.
You've seen that a lot in your playing days, right? Because there was a time 5-6 years in where a young captain was anointed and there were a lot of senior players in the squad. So that way a senior player can kind of set the atmosphere and, like you're saying, a leadership role without being a leader, because there were so many senior players in those squads as well.
Exactly. In different stages in your career, you play different kind of role. When you're a youngster in the side, you are allowed to make mistakes. You are allowed to commit those errors. You want to be free. Like a Pathirana in this team right now is allowed to make mistakes. He can, but he has to show fearlessness. All those other aspects of the game, how you're looking at it, how you're taking the game on, is something which management looks at. But once you have been there, which Angelo Matthews have been around for a while now, you look at those numbers and those are good numbers. The kind of expectation which Sri Lanka cricket had from Angelo Matthews, I think he had not lived up to those expectations. After Sangha, Mahela, they moved on from the game. Sri Lankan cricket wanted someone to play similar kind of role to them and then carry the team forward. I think that phase, Angelo was a key component, but he missed that opportunity. He didn't live up to the expectations of Sri Lanka cricket. Now, maybe team is looking settled and they're thinking that, okay, Angelo Matthews coming in. As I said, if he's playing a longer role, maybe for a year, 2 years, and creating that stability, creating those kind of moments where he's having conversations with the youngsters, guiding them through, if need be, playing few matches, missing few matches, but making sure that that platform now of rebuilding is getting more strengthened, then it will be a great thing, I think.
I'll just give you a simple thing. It's like Sachin. Once Sachin has moved on from being captain, Sachin never wanted to be captain again. That's very clear. He never wanted to be captain again. What am I saying? I'm turning around and saying that I'm not captain, but I'm there to support you, whatever. Then your intentions are very clear.
There you go.
They need to have clarity. He needs to have clarity about what he's doing.
We'll see that. We'll know. Of course, clarity of role is very important. And when you come to the England batting order, it's very clear. It's been clear for many years what everybody's role is. Johnny Bairstow, what was his role? After the 2015 U-turn that England had to take in their thinking towards the white ball game, leading up to their 2019 trophy, Johnny Bairstow was a very integral part of that attack philosophy. But after the injury and him coming back, the freak injury, right? What was it? Was it an
ankle, I think.
It was a golf injury. is what he had. He fell on a golf club.
Yeah, something like that.
There's something really random that happened, right? It'll come back to me in a second. But after he came back, his form is not exactly, the devastating form hasn't exactly come back with him. Joy.
Look, I'll again tell you, 7 one-day internationals in 2023. I mean, they just haven't played enough matches. He hasn't played the format. If you look at that, I mean, that's what I'm saying with all these England players. You know what Root is saying. Nobody knows. They don't play their domestic one day. They're not playing one day cricket anywhere else because all the other leagues are T20. How do you judge what this player is good at or not good at? So they just said, okay, 2019, who are our good players? Here are good players. Let's pick them up. Of course, they know how to play the format.
Yeah.
But are they in form? Are they not in form? Where they are? And to get used to playing. And, it's a very important thing. A lot of players who are now T20 players are saying, I'm happy playing this format. Recently, Markram said, because I suddenly realized I have so much time. It is a very different thing playing a T20 match with a 50-over match. And I think this is the problem that a lot of them are suffering from. They're not able to. So Markram said something very beautiful. He said, I know in T20 you change gears, but then you stay on the higher gear. But here in one-day international cricket, sometimes you have to gear down again. And then gear up again.
Nice.
And he says, we're not used to it.
Yeah.
And so that's exactly my problem. This English team is undercooked. They have all the talent, the recipe, the ingredients are good. They just haven't played enough, and I'm not sure the England board has also shown enough faith in this format. I mean, that's the truth of it.
It's very evident they haven't, right? You can just tell. It's almost like you feel that it's like you have a crush and you're just chasing that love of your life for many, many years. And as soon as that happens, you just go, all right, now I'm just going to put my feet up, right? And just relax and let my belly come out. Because that's what's happened with England. They were chasing that goal, that World Cup trophy. So it almost seems after 2019 that they said, that's it, we're done. We don't need another one. We are fulfilled. It seems like that. They just don't. But anyway, let's come back to Bairstow. We'll get to that through the day today. But let's get to Bairstow. Today is an ideal opportunity for him, right? You're playing in Chinnaswamy. It's a ground that he's played in a lot because he plays the IPL. He's played in this ground. He knows these conditions. Boundaries are not that big. Batting first. Ball comes on nicely. Everything he likes. If he can just today unlock that potential, it will just have a ripple effect. It's like that cycle stand, right? It'll just have a ripple effect through that batting order.
Always. And the opener not having great numbers, you can go back in the data and check it out. You go back in the history. The teams which are doing well, they got to start well. See, and why it's so important, be it with the ball, be it with the bat, it's so important. Like if you're bowling first, you got to hit those 2 wickets in the first 10 overs. It's a completely different ball game afterwards, you know. So similarly, if you are not starting well,
he's not surviving the power play. We've got a stat with that as well.
So what happens, So example today, if Bairstow doesn't start well, if he's living up to the same numbers what we've seen just now, basically Sri Lankan bowlers must have planned for the match. Okay, if you have to beat England, this is what you have to do. This is the plan. Now you go out there and your first 5 overs, you've taken the first wicket.
Yeah.
Now suddenly that belief in your plans is on another level, and then things start to fall in place. And that's why that start is so important. And that's why maybe for England it was important that they start with Bairstow and Butler.
Yeah.
Because that's something, even if you're changing the format, your approach can still remain the same. Yeah. And then you have the middle phase where you can accumulate and stuff like that. So from that point of view, Bairstow, I think somewhere England was confused with this, the gear up, gear down, which they didn't believe in. They're not believing in a test match also. They're saying, okay, we're going to push the bar.
Yeah.
So when you have that clarity, then things start to flow. And when you are confused or second guessing, that's where things start going south. So I think right now for England, they are too concerned about the gear shifts which we are talking about in an ODI format which is required. They're giving importance to the format rather than saying, okay, fine, we will just be batting at that tempo.
Yeah.
Irrespective, we might fail, but our approach is going to be that. I think that approach right now is a confused approach, which is showing, and which is the double mind approach. Whether should I hit it for a 6 or should I just chip it? It's just going to go to the fielder. That's the kind of thing.
It's such a good point. There's something that worked for them. And then somewhere they've got, what do we do? Should we slow down? Should we say what Markram is saying, right? Should we play like that? And then obviously added to their woes is openers not getting runs. The middle order is as brittle as, perhaps one of the worst in the world. Look at it, right? Harry Brook, some runs. Joss Butler, nothing. Liam Livingston, 3 innings, nothing. Sam Curran, well, okay, you're not going as deep down as that. Moeen Ali just played the one game and then they left him out. They'd want more from him as well. But so dependent on the top 3 as I see it there. Brook, Butler, Livingston.
Yeah, absolutely. Only Joe Root has got runs with them.
Yeah.
Only Root has got certain number of runs with them. And problem with them is, again, they're playing Brooks. They like playing Brooks. But the problem is the moment they play Brooks, they've been dropping an all-rounder for him.
Yeah.
What's happening is they're putting pressure on their bowling. Their bowling is not performing. Therefore, there's extra pressure coming back on the batting. So, none of their formulas are working. And I go back to your point that if you learn that the only way you've won matches is playing constantly in 5th gear, stay there. You can't change the middle of a tournament. It's like changing horses in midstream. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
This is what your team is good at doing. Stick to that approach. The other thing I say is that why it's important for Bairstow to get going is Bairstow is a bit like Matthew Hayden. He's a big unit. He's an intimidator. He walks out at you. It is a psychological effect also. He gets going in the middle. It makes a difference in teams. And you were talking about chipping. Exactly that happened. His first dismissal in the World Cup is basically suddenly decided to go for a 6. Chips it at the last minute because he was not decided what he'll do. Chipped it to long off. And that tells you exactly that there's somewhere in their head.
There's a bit of a convoluted kind of thought process that is coming through in what they're doing. And they have to win today because they've just got 1 win and 3 losses. Today really means boarding pass printing time, not just seat selection. You got to just, print those boarding passes. And on the other side, there is a Sri Lankan bowling attack, which will, of course, know about this confusion, try to play on this confusion. Have Madhu Shankar, their strike bowler. He has been very impressive. And Zach, of course, you are completely qualified to talk about.
No, he's good. He was someone who was not available for the Asia Cup. Again, the long injury list which Sri Lanka was struggling with didn't really help their cause. But he's a good young talent who can swing the ball.
Yep.
Now, you look at that economy also, it's a very healthy economy in this
the power play.
In the power play. And that is so crucial for any bowler.
Yeah.
I've been saying that marker, the 10 over 2 wicket marker is something which is so important. If Madhu Shankar is bowling in the power play, he's played 10 games, he's taken 12 wickets.
Yeah.
Now, he has played his part.
Yeah.
The other guy has to do his part, and then you are talking about that ticking that first block so nicely, which lays the platform for your spinners also to come on later. And Tikshna is someone who you know how difficult he is for any batter.
Yeah.
So from that point of view, your opening bowlers, say Rajita or Madhu Shankar, will have that responsibility, and Madhu Shankar have been playing that role very nicely for the team because he's got the ability to swing the ball.
Yeah, and he will be up against not very confident Johnny Bairstow. Very excited to see this battle right up front because I feel like this battle could define the day as it would play out. It's a very important battle there. All right, we're seeing England and Sri Lanka play today. I'm very curious to know what your joy factor question is because it usually has something to do with the teams that are playing. Does it today?
Not really. Let's find out. I've forgotten now which one I've sent.
Okay.
Okay, this has something to do.
Okay.
Yes. This Asian cricketer made his debut alongside a future Australian captain in the same match and played his final international match in a game where England's most successful all-format bowler was judged man of the match. Name the cricketer. So this guy played for a long time. The first match he played, an Australian captain made his debut in the same match. His last match that he played, England's most successful bowler ever was man of the match. That's all I can.
I don't even know which country I'm looking for.
Asian. I brought it down to...
Of course. To only the largest continent with the most cricket playing nations.
Yeah, just about
of course.
4 or 5 billion people to choose from.
I appreciate your effort at simplifying this for us mortals.
Take away the women, 2 billion.
That's it. Okay. All right, cool. So you can search for those through those 2 billion people and tell us who that cricketer is. Hashtag Cricbuzz Live on... It's not Twitter anymore. It's X. Send us on X. All right. Now it's time for hashtag arrogance. Who can get this right? England batting first. Now here's the problem with England batting first. What's your guess going to be? 185 or 385?
Which side of the bed?
I'm just saying it's not going to be in the 200s. That's my guarantee. It's going to be less than 200 or it's going to be more than 320.
I think I'll go with 345.
I like it.
345.
345. Nice. It's a good hand.
365.
365. तो मैं बीच में बैठ जाऊँ 355 पे.
बैठ जाइए.
So one thing, see, England is going to turn up basically. Now it's all gone, you know, whatever they had to go up and down, they're going to come with a clear mindset and go for it.
I mean, that's what we are hoping for. Ultimately, it's up to them what they decide to do. And of course, there's Sri Lanka bowlers who might be watching the show because they watch it just as they're marking their run up. And they'll be thinking, we have also, what else we here for?
Yeah, we have come to puzzle.
But listen, you're in Chinnaswamy, man. Chinnaswamy doesn't do well for bowlers bowling first. It just doesn't. That's why England has won the toss and chosen to bat. All right, so that's the story from there. Quick look at the teams before we go, because 3 changes for the England team. They've got their all-rounders back in, Liam Livingstone, Moeen Ali and Chris Woakes. All 3 have come back in. A nice, diverse bowling attack, as you can see. And also a great batting lineup because you've got heavy hitters all the way right till the end. And for Sri Lanka, they've made 2 changes. The veteran Angelo Matthews comes in, and also Lahiru Kumara, their quick bowler. So that's the Sri Lanka team. That's the England team. England batting first. We're going to see you at the end of the 15th over with Cricbuzz Combox, our little update. So you can go back to what you were doing now because we know you're busy. But we've got you. We've got you covered. So see us then at the end of the 15th over. Big thank you to Joy Bhattacharya and Zaheer Khan. Thank you so much, gentlemen. I guess that's lunch then. Yeah.
Perfect.
That's lunch. It's lunchtime for us. I'm Gaurav Kapur. This was Cricbuzz Live. And we'll continue to be through the day. So stay with us. Bye-bye.